Congratulations, my friend. You've made it to another checkpoint in the game of life. And before we start, I just want to read off a passage of a book I'm currently reading called Transcend: The New Science of Self-Actualization. So, life isn't a trek up a summit, but a journey to travel through. A vast blue ocean full of new opportunities for meaning and discovery, but also danger and uncertainty. In this choppy surf, a clunky pyramid is of little use. Instead, what we needed is something a bit more functional. We will need a sailboat. What does that even mean, right? As you know, these videos are a way for me and you to kind of take a step back from our journey and look at things more objectively. We begin to look and question things. We begin to look at our journey from an outside perspective, look at things that we might not have saw before. And something that I've recently learned was that self-improvement is not a mountain. It's not just you're constantly going up, 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 up. That's not what it's about. It was never about that. It was never about level 1, level 2, level 3. It was about fully being. It was about fully existing. What does that really mean? So I have this representation right here in the passage I just read to you. Usually we think like, okay, we have a mountain, right? We climb up the mountains, climb up the levels, level 1, 2, 3. But what we actually need is the sailboat. Why though? It mentions a vast blue ocean. And instead of a mountain, instead of walking up the mountain, we are at sea in our sailboat. Our sails open. We're exploring new places. We can't control the sea. The sea is knocking back and forth our boat. It comes, we can't even control it. So what does that really represent? The boat, number one, right? The base of the boat represents your emotional security, your security in yourself, security with your thoughts, your conviction, your life, etc. So a lot of people, they just have the base of the boat. They don't have their sails open. What does that really mean? That means they're closed up. That means they're all closed up. They're just drifting through life. They're letting the waves move them. However, the waves like, right? And the waves represent the emotions. The waves represent uncertainty. The waves represent things that we cannot control. And so us in our sailboat, as we become fully human, we become fully existing in this world, right? The waves will be so uncertain that it will knock our boat, right? It will knock our boat down. Some wood will fall off. I mean, we have to rebuild the base. We have to rebuild the boat, right? That's what the base of the boat represents, right? We're out at sea. We're not up a mountain. And so when we look at this again, right, we see the sail. What does the sail represent? The sail represents openness. It represents exploration. It represents being vulnerable in the game of life. Because when we have our sails down and open, we can move freely. We can move wherever our hearts desire. But it doesn't mean the waves aren't going to still crash our boat. It doesn't mean that uncertainty isn't there. Uncertainty will always be there. That is inevitable, right? Just like certain circumstances, just like how you feel. You're not going to feel like it all the time. Especially on this journey, it's why we need discipline. We need to have a good reason why we're sailing this vast blue ocean, right? And the whole reason I bring this up, self-improvement is not a mountain. People like to think it's like, oh, like we're always going up, up, up. But like then they fail. And then when they fail, they're like, they don't understand like, okay, like what happened? Like, I mean, let's say for example, you're just starting a bit, like you're just not consistent, right? Let's just say you're not consistent. And you try to be consistent for a couple days, right? And then you end up in a rut. And now you're in a rut for like a whole entire week and another week. And then you have those few couple days where you do so good and then you fail again. But what does this really represent? It represents waves of, you mean not feeling like it, right? But just because we don't feel like it doesn't mean we can't act in accordance to our goals in the right way that we have to go. But when we're out in the ocean, right, build your base. Make sure that you're secure with yourself. Make sure you know where you want to go. Make sure you have a strong base, because the more planks that you have, the bigger boat you have, the better that you are able to adapt to the waves of life. That's because that is what it really is. When we have our base, right, and we have our sails open, we can explore, we can find purpose, we can find meaning, we can see other boats, other people. Because you might think like we're out on a journey alone, but when we come across other boats in the sea, we realize we're not alone, right? We all just have our individual boats. There's waves, there's big waves over there, big waves over there, small waves here and there. We see a big cloud off in the distance. It really is just exploring. It's adapting. It's getting the full human experience. And I kind of hope you understand like what I'm saying. Life is not a mountain. Life is a vast blue ocean. And we have our ships that we have to keep adjusting and keep making better and better. The ship is you. You are the ship. You are the vessel, right? If you're to a person who's introverted, if you're to a person who's closed up, not really vulnerable, gets really defensive, that's a sign that you have to still take time to build your base. You're just drifting through life. You're taking all the hits from the waves. You're drifting wherever the waves take you. It's out of your control. You're not in control. The waves are. So what you need to do is take some time to figure out who you are. Realize that you do have security. Realize that the things that you think that you don't have, right? The boat is like more of like, okay, I don't have this. Like I don't have love. I don't have this. I don't feel secure with myself. You can get those things. That's the first step into building your base, is that knowing that you can get those things. And now knowing, okay, what do I have to implement in order to get these things, right? And then once we have a good base, we can open the sails, right? And explore. Follow our passion, follow our purpose. Try to find meaning out in the blue ocean. I don't know if you've ever watched One Piece. It's like an anime, and it's about pirates and stuff like that. And when I heard this analogy of the sailboat instead of the mountain, all I could think about was One Piece, because it's about pirates and about freedom. It's about, you know what I mean? It's a really good story, I'd say. And really, life is just about being a pirate in your boat and always adapting your boat to the seas and the way that life hits us, right? Because up a mountain, when we're going up the mountain, eventually when we reach the top, that's it. That's it. We reach the top. Now what? Will we go down the mountain now? Do we just stay there? Like, what's next? Because really, you're just going to climb another mountain. It's not like this. It's like this. It just keeps going. And then once you flatten that out and make it linear, it's a sea. It's an ocean, right? Because everyone is out there on the sea with you. Everyone's out there. They're dealing with the waves itself. And the waves can represent, like I said, emotions, suffering. It can represent uncertainty, inevitability, those types of things. So this is just a nice analogy that I wanted to give you before you go out on your journey again. Don't look at the journey like a mountain, because if you look at it like a mountain, right, when you fall down, you'll be like, oh, now I'm lower, right? I'm lower. But no, you're not lower. You just gotta build your base again. Build your boat, drop your sails, and explore. Because the sails represent exploration. They represent discovery, curiosity, purpose, meaning. That's what open sails mean. You mean, I used to be a closed book. I wouldn't let anyone open me up. I wouldn't let anyone, read between the lines at all. I used to be so closed up in my room by myself with my thoughts in my head. But I realized, in this life, we have to be vulnerable in order to achieve the full human existence and experience. So beginning to open your sails it's a brave thing to do, right? But if you're to a person who's closed up, introverted, who's in their little shell, if you open up and feel through all the waves, you take all the waves and you adapt your boat. It's dancing with the waves. Your vessel, your sailboat, is adapting to the waves of life. Take this analogy and use it into your life. How are you going to build your vessel? How are you going to strengthen your base, strengthen your sails, etc.? Go about this as interpret it how you can, right? I want you to, after this video, You mean understand, okay, did I build the base? Are my sales down? And really just question yourself. Maybe write down a representation of this. Because I'm going to start using the sailboat analogy with a lot of my videos in the way that I coach people. And before hopping on the journey again, my friend, just make sure that you just take a step back to look at yourself objectively, right? Because when's the last time you self-analyzed yourself? What am I lacking? What are my strengths? All of that stuff. So, time to get after the journey again. Continue your journey and keep moving forward.